They released a photo of the name of the German terrorist, and guess what? Well, it wasn't a German. Yeah, I know. Nobody could have predicted this. Nobody could have ever expected this could have happened. I don't think anybody thought this was going to be a random guy. German police have just shot dead the Berlin terrorist who rammed a car into the Pride parade in Berlin. That's right. This was an Islamist terrorist. I said yesterday, I was like, guys, I don't know really what it was. It could have been anything. I said that, also, what do you think the odds are, right? It turns out that averages sure seem to play out the way you think they do, right? And, and also, apparently they already even knew who this guy was, a 21-year-old from Lebanon. Yeah, I think he was from Lebanon, or so. It wasn't from Germany, I'll tell you that. And so, was not a German. So, we're gonna look at that, right? Why the first 5 minutes of your stream is because you're allergic reaction of outside and you're clearing out. I usually just wake up. I mean, usually, how many of you guys have like congestion in the morning when you wake up? And then after you kind of get through the day and that buildup goes away, things are like back to normal and you don't have any issues, right? Me? Yeah, I think it's like super common. And so that's the reason why it happens. Yeah, okay, exactly, right? And he was literally scheduled for a de-radicalization session today. Well, I guess he got it because he's dead. So, I mean, mission accomplished. I feel like a lot of these, psycho radical people, I think that they should have the same type of de-radicalization, fucking thing, right? And that's what I would say. Oh, what is this? So this is the person who's talking about it. But I did see all this, right? I obviously did. I think that it's a very disgraceful thing that we've allowed this to happen. And I don't know really if it's ever going to stop or go away. I have no idea. But it's been very annoying to see people kind of try to sweep for it or make excuses for why it happens. And so yeah, the anti going on in the Netherlands. I don't know what's going on in the Netherlands. I have no idea. What's a de-radicalization session? I mean, I feel like if you need to de-radicalize a person that isn't even from your country, why don't you just get rid of them? Like, I don't understand. Like, and this is my opinion, is that like I'm not a big fan of, like, for a while I was more of a fan of being an accelerationist, and I don't think that I really am anymore. And the reason why is because of people like this girl. I think that there's a blind spot that, I had, that these people would rather die than admit that they were wrong. And I think that they will do that. They will manifest their own destruction before they admit that any of their viewpoints or values are wrong. And so, and I think this is a good example. So I don't think like that anymore, because I've seen too many videos of these people talking this way. And I think that really the most important thing is to systemically remove their power. I think that's really what you have to do. He was apparently born in Germany. That shouldn't matter. I mean, he's not a German. Everybody knows he's not a German, right? You look at him, he's not German. And so, like, I don't know really what we're doing here. Everybody knows what a Chinese person is. Everybody knows what a Japanese person is. Everybody knows what an Indian is, and everybody knows what a German is. And he's not a German. He shouldn't be there. He should have never been there. His parents should have never been there. It's just if anything, it's a generational failure. Right? And so that's it. Hope all is well, dude. Yeah, things are actually quite good. I'm feeling good, man. That's it. And let me go back. I'll look at this here. So this is the video. Known Islamist drives into a pride parade in Berlin, killing at least one person. It's white men's fault. So let's go over. We're going to watch this video. This is a, obviously one of these people, right? Giving their take on why this happened. Let's look at it. 50% of Germany isn't German. Yep, and it's going to be 60% next year, or maybe a few years from now, if you don't stop it from happening. I think fundamentally, the German people, like European people in general, need to realize that they are in an existential crisis that will cause the extinction of their civilization if they don't deal with it. You have allowed millions of people into your country that hate your culture, they hate your country, they hate you for your identity, they hate your religion, they hate everything about you, they hate your legal system, they, want to replace all of that with their own. And the sooner that people in Europe realize that, and America realize that too, the sooner this threat can just be addressed and dealt with. You just send them back. That's it. It's like, literal mass deportations, right? And that would be it. Germany's done. Yeah, European, I think the next 10 to 15 years of leftism politics. Yeah, I mean, I think so. And yeah, we need to beat the government for that. Well, I think that the government was voted for by the people. I think that you need to, like, this is the reality that a lot of people in these countries, these Western countries, need to reconcile. They need to reconcile the reality that these awful, unpopular policies are not awful and unpopular in the eyes of a lot of people. A lot of people agree with these. A lot of people agree with these policies and they want to see more of them. So until you're ready to recognize that for what it is, that it actually isn't like, because you can go on the internet. This is a big issue with like the internet in general. I'll talk about this for like 5 minutes before I move on to like the actual video, right? Is that what the internet does is it gives people the idea of a false consensus, because you're inside an algorithm, you're inside a community of people that all think the same way that you do, but you can go outside of that and you see that there's huge, and this goes both ways. It goes, all I'm saying is that basically there are a lot of people out there that vehemently disagree with you that are in your country. You can't blame all of this on, you know, it's not Israel, it's not the Jews, it's not the EU. It is the actual people in your country that there are not enough of them to create a critical mass of making a change. And I think that fundamentally, a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that, because in acknowledging that, it is a profoundly ridiculous thing to say that all of these people somehow can't see the problem that's in plain sight, right? They are refusing to see it. They don't want to look at it for whatever reason. And that bothers a lot of people. They don't want to do that. And I think left-wing people have the same viewpoint, but just from a different direction. And so they don't want to look at, you know, the fact that there is a huge propensity of these people that do exist that think totally different than that, right? So Le Pen to be favorite to be French president, yeah, but like, I mean, Marie Le Pen, like, I mean, if like, when is she going to win the election, right? Is it in 2 or 3 years? What is her solution for solving this? I have no idea. So, like, really, and also, like, a lot can change between now and then. And so we're going to have to wait and see, right? I mean, obviously, like, what would I do? I just always vote for the most extreme candidate every single time that I think is going to win, right? That's all I do. And every single time, it's like you're moving things a little bit closer to the other side. And the reason why I do that is because I actually don't think that there will be a breaking point that these people get to where they acknowledge that they are wrong. I don't think that it will happen. I think that they would rather die than acknowledge that they are wrong. And how do I know that? Because think about how many women stay with ex-boyfriends that beat the shit out of them constantly, and then eventually the ex-boyfriend just kills them. Meanwhile, this woman has every person in her life telling her, you need to leave this guy, he's going to hurt you, he's going to kill you. And then she says, no, I understand him better than you do. And then she ends up dead. So fundamentally, I don't think this type of empathy has a limit to it. I think that the limit to this empathy is death. Until these people literally die, they will literally think this. And I don't even advocate for killing them. I just want to take their rights away so you don't have to worry about how they're going to vote either way. That's what I want to do. And so this will change the subject. Yeah, they'll change the subject or tell you that you don't understand. Yeah, exactly, right? And so the real solution to that, right, is that you have to remove these people's ability to influence the system, right? Because you can't expect them to change their minds. They're never going to change their minds. Even if something bad happens to them, a white person could have done the same. Well, like, a good example of this is that, you know, there was a woman who like was killed by a man, and then the mother of the woman took the man in to try to reconcile and like make up with him for killing her daughter, and then he killed her too. And I look at that and I see to myself, that is what's called natural selection. That's a perfect, oh no, there's a spider gonna kill a little moth. Oh my God, there's a little insect war going on in my underneath my monitor. Holy shit. Holy shit. That's not one of the super moths. I had a super moth the other day. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the moth I found. Look how big he was. Look. Look, that's how big the moth was. It's a huge moth, bro. Massive fucking moth. And so I was, it's a B2 moth. Yeah, it was one of the biggest ones I've seen, right? And anyway, it was in my garage, right? I texted him, I was like, yeah, it fits in the palm of your hand, and it's a big boy. No, I tried to pet him, and he didn't want to get petted. He just was like, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine. And he's been there for a couple of days, right? And so anyway, these people, here's my point, right, is that the woman that did that was killed by that guy. And I think that's a good thing. I do. I think that the more of these people that get removed from the gene pool, the better. Because what they will do is they will sign other people up for their own fatal empathy, right? These are people like, you know, for example, like let's say everybody, like there's somebody that wants to, you know, like have everybody live with a tiger in their house. Well, the best possible thing that could happen would be that they live with the tiger in their house and the tiger kills them, right? I mean, this is obviously the best case scenario. So, very clearly, and well, I mean, really the best case scenario is these people are put in an institution because there's something wrong with them. But fundamentally, that's the next best thing. So the issue is that these people will never change their minds. They will never realize that they're wrong, and they will allow this insanity to continue. And even if it kills them, they'll say that it was some other aberration of fate and it was never actually their fault. And that's really it. It's suicidal empathy. It has no limit to anything you say or do. Exactly. Only action can change it. I don't even believe that you can change these people's minds. I think that you can only change the way that these people's minds affect the world. And so that's really my mindset. So I'll watch the video and we'll look at it, okay?
I'm getting really, really sick of this. I'm getting really tired of having to repeat myself over and over again.
Yes.
So today, in Berlin, there was an attack. A van drove through a crowd of people celebrating Berlin Pride Parade that they have every year. It's a huge parade. It's one of the biggest. Yeah. And they injured, I think, at this time I'm making this video, this is subject to change, 17 people. And
let me look it up on the thing. How many people? Berlin Pride Parade. How many dead and injured? Yeah, let me look this up and see what it says. I mean, honestly, like, what's kind of funny about this is not funny, but like, you know, ironic about this is that there's been multiple of these that have happened, right? So it's like you're gonna have to be more specific. 1 dead and 29 injured. Okay, so that was really it. So is the one person dead? Oh, 1 woman was killed. Okay, so there were 2 people killed because the 21-year-old suspect was shot and killed as well. Okay, yeah, so 2 people total, but 1 actual person, right? And so yeah, there it is. Has she made a correction video? Of course not. No, these people will never admit they're wrong. Like it's just, again, like this is what I've said before about, like, I never try to what do you call it? I never try to win over the hearts and minds of these people, right? There's no reason to.
Is dead. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a breaking story.
Yeah.
There are going to be things that are going to come out and change throughout the life of the story, you know, average. Yeah. So the suspect is an Islamic extremist. That's their suspect right now. That's what I read.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to say anything about the rest of the Muslim population because of actions of this one person. But what I can say is the people who were celebrating about this were all white men, young white men.
Well, because I think the reason why a lot of young white guys celebrate this is because it's another point on the graph that shows that there is a level of incompatibility with left-wing ideology and Islam. And I think that it's really, I mean, obviously, like, there's a spectrum of every religion, but especially with radical Islam, you see a lot of these terror attacks that are happening, and you do, and they don't accept gay people. They don't accept this bisexual stuff. They don't like pride parades. They're not fans of being trans to the large extent. So what are we doing here? How is it that you have found... There is again an unholy matrimony between Islamic extremism and left-wing politics. And the funny thing is that left-wing politics goes against everything that Islamic extremism goes for, and then Islamic extremism goes against everything that left-wing politics goes for. But the only difference is that a lot of these left-wing people don't go out driving cars through crowds. That's the difference. They're in denial. Well, they're not in denial. The reason why they do this is that Islam and these groups of people, right, like from Middle Eastern countries, they represent being counter towards the normal, like European, white, Christian, Western culture. So it's not necessarily that they support these people fundamentally. They just support them as an opposition to what they dislike. So that's the actual reason why they do it. They're anti-government. I don't think anyone really celebrated that. I think that, celebrated is again, you can go back and forth about the word. I don't want to argue about semantics. I think that people were, I don't know really what the word is, validated to see that, this is another one of these, religious terrorists, right? I think that's clearly what it is. They think the enemy of my enemy? Yes.
With crosses in their profiles. Because we've all seen it. We've all seen how you guys react towards gay people and how you wish harm on them constantly. I get constant hate on my videos, especially about trans people. You're not going to hide behind another scapegoat group and pretend that they're actually the violent ones when it's you. You hold the same exact...
See, if it was up to me, I'd take people like this girl and I'd send them to one of the countries that kills gay people. I would. I'd send them over there. I'd say, okay, you don't like the mean comments? That's fine. You're going to go to Afghanistan now. That's it. And you're not coming back. Yeah, now you're going to go over there. You don't like it? All right. All right. Oh, that's what you get. They wouldn't even take him. I think they'd take him. And, so anyway, is she going to see the truth then? It's an hour. Dude, 1 hour and she's healed? Yeah, everything's going to be all better.
That this man who did this attack did, and you're trying to distance yourself from it. And you know why you're trying to do that? It's because you're ashamed, and you should be. This is
her getting, so basically a radical Islamist went out and killed a bunch of, or injured 30 people and killed one person. And, this is like a terrorist, but the real people who are at fault are people like white people with crosses in their bio. What do you think radical Islamists would do if you told these people are their closest allies in the West? Well, this is the funniest thing, right? Is I see this. How can this be real life? Oh my God. So this is one of the... It's like you think that something like this is AI, right? I mean, you would assume something like this is AI. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Wow. Jesus, guys. Well, there you go. Man in the making. And this, I guess this means that you are taking some sort of hormone or something like that. And I'm assuming the T is, testosterone or trans. I mean, it's the same thing, really, in the context. So there you go, right? And Shrinka, aren't these people crazy? Oh my God. So we need to mass support the third world and then deal with these people as soon as possible. Looks like the character creator's bugged. Yeah, this looks like a new skin from Suicide Squad, right? And all terrains possible pretending to be street tires. Yeah. And do you think what's wrong with the EU can lead to civil war within a country? No, I don't really think it'll lead to a civil war because one side of this war is just completely unequipped for a civil war. What do you think is going to happen whenever groups like, the equivalent, the whatever the European equivalent of Patriot Front goes up against a bunch of these weird mentally ill freaks in wheelchairs, right? I mean, this wouldn't really be much of a fight, would it? So, I mean, I don't think that there's really going to be a big fight here because one of these groups, this is the other issue, right? Is that one of these groups of people, the only reason why people like this are alive is because it's illegal to kill them. This is the reason. And fundamentally, if you actually had a war, these people would get killed instantly. They would be killed instantly because that's what's happened in every other society in human history. This is just the way it is. And I think this is the way it is for a lot of things. And people don't realize how much the laws and the adherence to the laws create the society that we have. Do you really think that people would put up with this? If you took all the rules away, what do you think would happen to these people? They would immediately get attacked. attack, they'd immediately be maimed and if not killed, right? This is what would happen instantaneously. This like live and let live mentality doesn't work if somebody decides that it doesn't work. And so that's it. Dies people in Night 40? Yeah, exactly. Exiled? Exactly. They have no idea what they're asking for. You understand you're physically in this group parameters, right? You're trying to make like an argument that, well, I don't really think this is, I mean, anybody can hold a gun, right? I mean, like, this is the reality. Like, anybody can hold a gun and they'd be able to do that. These people are profoundly mentally ill. Like, this isn't about, are you trying to make, like, an insult towards me because, like, I'm skinny or something like that? Is that what you're trying to do? I just want to understand what your point of view is. How does that work? Yeah, like, what do you mean by that? Yeah, what does that mean? Because it seems like you might not be able to actually explain what you're trying to say. You said that all die in a war. I'm just saying you need a gem buddy. That's all. You're right about all the rest. Well, I don't know. I mean, like, you could be the strongest dude in the world. If somebody shoots you in the head, you're gonna die, right? I mean, it doesn't really... Like, I don't like the way you're talking to me. I don't. I don't like the way you're talking to me. That's weird. That's weird that you talk to me like that. I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just gonna permaban you, right? But he's backtracking. Yeah, I don't like that. And so, like, and I've said this before, right? Is that there are always people that will, like, if you try to like insult me or you're like rude to me or something like that, or you try to like do one of these, like, I'm gonna turn it around and talk about you in this weird way, like, I just instantly ban you. Like, I don't really want to deal with that. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that. Like, that's just not the way that, it's just not the way I tolerate things. So people just don't talk to me that way, and if they do, they're gonna get banned, right? And so yeah. Anyway, like, I mean, that's really the reason. I mean, anybody can hold a gun, right? I mean, it's not really that complicated. But anyway, my point that I'm making with all this is that these crazy people, what they don't understand is that there would never be a civil war, right? There never would be. It would not even happen. So, yeah, come some slack. No, not ban-worthy. Somebody talks to me in a way that's disrespectful, even like 1% disrespectful, I just ban them. The reason why is because I just don't want to be talked to that way. Like, it's just really that simple. I just don't want to talk. I don't want people to talk to me that way. And so if I feel like it's rude or annoying or this person's obnoxious, I just don't let them do that. Like, what? It's condescending. Yeah, I would never let somebody talk to me that way. Right? I mean, I have to tolerate this in real life, right? I mean, you can't just go and ban people in real life. But, like, if it's in my own personal space, yeah, I would never tolerate that from anybody for any reason. Why would I ever do that? So, yeah, it's just that simple. No, Buddy was condescending. Yeah, I mean, I just, it's common sense. I mean, why would I ever want to have that happen at all? And I've said that before, right? I mean, somebody comes into, you know, like somebody else's stream and they start arguing with them and then they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I got banned. Well, like, yeah, of course. I mean, like, nobody wants to do that. And I feel like he didn't mean it that way. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, that's too bad. Maybe you should have thought about that before he said it. Maybe you can submit a ban appeal and then maybe you can do it again, right? But that's it. Anyway, so... I think that really there's not going to be like a big civil war or anything like that. I really don't think so. I think that you can have like a little bit of that, but the moment that bullets start flying, I think that just like Iran, everything immediately stops. Like, most people actually don't want to go out and get shot by the government or be blown up by the police, right? It's just not what's going to happen. So I don't think you're going to have a big civil war. It's nothing like that that's going to happen. I mean, like, if it is, it probably would last like probably a few months and then that would be over. But I don't really know. And civil unrest at best, yeah, I would say so. And 21k ban appeals before you, yeah, bro, like as soon as possible. So this is the reason. People like this are the reason why I have zero faith in any of these people at a certain period of time realizing that they're wrong, right? I have no there's no there will be no level in which they acknowledge or accept that their ideology is wrong. They will continuously believe this, they'll continuously think that, and there's nothing that's ever going to stop them from doing that. And that's it. And so what's this here? And are you doofing on banning people day? Maybe, right? Yeah, I don't know. And are ban appeals going to be slow news next week? Maybe, right? I don't know. Maybe I should do another ban appeal stream. I haven't done that for a while. I don't really know when that's going to happen. So yeah, this is the person that did the killing, right? It was a Lebanese Islamist terrorist, Abdul Ball Out. He balled out and has been shot and killed by the German police moments ago after attacking them with a knife. He carried out a truck ramming against the Berlin Pride Parade yesterday, killing 1 and wounding 29. So this is it. And yeah, what a surprise. I think people expected this, but, you know, as I said, I always like to wait to know what's actually going on before I say something. So, yeah, this is the information about it. I mean, there's some information. Abdul Ballout had planned a terrorist attack once before, so this isn't his first terrorist attack. That's right. He's only 21 years old, and he's already planned one previous, and now he's moved on to his second actual terror attack. That's it. Kind of looks like Luigi. Anyway, and he fled to his homeland, Lebanon. Germany brought him back. Abdul was reportedly scheduled to attend a de-radicalization course tomorrow. So they had to, they're trying to send this guy to like a de-radicalization. Like, okay, Abdul, you can't kill them. Abdul, no. I know that's what it says, but you can't do. No, we have a law. No, you can't stab them. No, you can't stone them. Well, no, they don't need to die. Like, you can't do that. No, it's not gonna work, man. Abdul, please. And this is, again, they imported a known terrorist back from Lebanon into Germany so they could theoretically de-radicalize this person, right? They could de-radicalize this person. And it was so effective that he ended up driving a car through a bunch of gay people and he killed somebody. So there you go, right? And I can fix him, surely, right? And because he was born in Germany? Well, I mean, so what? Who cares? I mean, like, what, do you think being born in a country makes you that country? I mean, if there's like a bug in my house, I don't care if this bug was born in my house. I'm going to get it the fuck out of my house. Like, these people are terrorists. Like, if there's a mouse or a rat in my house and the rat says, well, you know, I was born in your house. So I don't give a fuck. It's my house. It's not your house. Get the fuck out of my house. So no, this person's not a German. Like, what are we doing here? What are we even pretending that this is a German fucking citizen? Of course it's not. So anyway, yeah, Dr. Seuss moment. Yes. And so they definitely should have gotten rid of this person, right? And I think that's really what it is. Put half of it in your fridge. Yeah, sure. What an example. I'm just saying. And, all right, guys, I'm de-radicalized. You can trust me and let me go. Well, all of these systems and everything are created by a bunch of people that never have to experience the consequences from them. So from their point of view, this seems like it's totally fine because there's never going to be a point where any of this bad stuff happens to them. So let's take a look and we'll look at a few more of these here. Diversity strikes again. German citizen with Lebanese background is accused of ramming his van into a crowd in Pride, Berlin, killing one person and severely injuring others. Almost 30 people, by the way, 29 people. And so this is born in Berlin. Let me see here. Germany identified him as an Islamist threat, so they had him arrested in Lebanon and flew him back to Germany and put him on trial for plotting terror attacks. He was convicted and sentenced to terrorism offenses in May 2026, but released on time served. By July 2026, he was back on the streets. So this dude, like, German authorities told him to attend de-radicalization counseling sessions. He responded by carrying out a jihadist terrorist attack on the Pride Parade. This can't be real. This is Germany, right? And you ask yourself, if they don't stop this, they're going to get another Hitler. It's going to happen. It's obvious that this is what's going to happen. People are becoming so radicalized and so angry that they are getting to the point where I think they will elect anybody who's crazy. They will elect anybody who will stop this in any way. And I think they need to realize this before it's too late, because I don't think that's going to be a good thing. If you elect another psycho to run the government and that gets rid of all these people, it's not going to end there. It will not end there. There is a very, very reasonable perspective of getting terrorists out of the country and keeping them gone and not giving these people second chances. There is an extremely easy, and by the way, another Hitler will be infinitely worse than the first one. The first Hitler was before nuclear bombs, and it was before the massive industrialization of warfare. Now, if you had somebody that did that, it would be probably 10 times worse, if not even worse than that. So, and that's not even counting if other countries join in on that perspective too. And so that's it. What do you think about AfD? I don't really know a lot about German politics. I mean, it seems like that would be the party I'd vote for, but I don't really know a lot about them to have a, like an opinion on it, right? I don't know. So there's no realistic world where it would get to close to that point, though. Well, I don't really know why you think that. Why do you think that it would not get close to that point? Because I'm going to give you a couple of other points on the graph, right? Duarte was basically like a Hitler person, right? I mean, he kind of was. He was not that bad, but he was pretty bad. And you had Bukele in El Salvador that did that. I think that once a society gets bad enough, you do have people that are more than willing to accept these extremely radical solutions to things. And I think you can look at the number of countries, whether it's the Philippines or El Salvador, as examples of what will be done in order to solve that problem. And I think also Donald Trump in 2024 was another minor example of that, right? Like, you have to remember that Donald Trump, like the idea of mass deportations and deporting everybody, like the whole families can be deported together. This is something that would have lost you an election 10 years ago. And nowadays it wins you an election. So I think that people very, very dramatically underestimate the capacity that the average person has for profound evil. I think that really, like, all you need to do is look at history and every page in history. You have to remember that people brought their children to watch lynchings. People used to do Salem witch trials as a religious event. We used to have slaves. We would have people as, like ornaments and decorations in the Roman Empire, right? Like, the entirety of human history is proving, I think, one specific thing is that evil is extremely commonplace, and all you need to do is just simply let it manifest. That's literally all there is to it. Another Hitler like Donald Trump? Well, you just go back and ban that guy. I don't even want to try to I don't want to try to explain things to you because you're not trying to understand them. There's no reason to even do that. And so Trump supporters stopped talking to Bukele ever since they found out he was Palestinian. I don't think that's true. No, I didn't. He's Palestinian. Like, I didn't even know that. Like, what does that have to do with anything? So anyway, Trump doesn't have concentration camps. Well, no, he doesn't. But Hitler didn't at the beginning either. I think that's generally what happens is that, and I'm not saying Trump is Hitler, but what my point is that people will vote for an extreme solution, and the extreme solution will not have, it won't be overnight. I mean, like, it's not going to happen instantaneously. It will happen, like, first you elect somebody, and then slowly things become more and more extreme over time, right? And I think that's what happens. What would today's country do? What would today's country leader do for you to consider him or her being like a Hitler? Well, I think Hitler was bad because of the death camps and the Holocaust. I think that's what really made Hitler bad. And then the invading other, generally friendly countries for no other reason than to take their resources. Yeah, I would say that probably the Holocaust was like, that was the bad one, right? I mean, like, that's it. I mean, if the guy just ran Germany and he was an asshole, I think that there's plenty of assholes that run countries that are, like, just keeping to themselves, right? Like Pol Pot fucking ran China and killed a bunch of people in China, but people don't think about it the same way because he generally just stayed in China, right? It's the same as tons of other dictators around the world, like, Kim Jong-un. People don't look at Kim Jong-un as evil as Hitler because, number one, he's not doing, Cambodia, there's another one, right? And so Cambodia, excuse me, not China. I was thinking of Mao, but Pol Pot was Cambodia, and there's other examples too, excuse me. And so the point is that a lot of these people, like, the evil of it really is that they export the ideology to everyone else, right? I think that's the main thing. And Mao doesn't look that badly because he killed his own, unlike Hitler. Yeah, I think that, like, generally people don't really care what goes on in some other random country. It's the same as Iran, right? Iran's killing its own people. This is horrible, but it's mainly isolated to Iran, so people can just turn a blind eye. But whenever you go and you start attacking other people, I think that's when everybody's like, well, what the fuck is going on, right? I mean, obviously. So, yeah, anyway, that's really what happened. So this guy basically, and I do think that we're moving towards that direction. I think that the unwillingness to see the obvious writing on the wall with this is extremely dangerous. It is extremely dangerous, and the fact that German authorities and other authorities in Europe and everywhere else are completely unwilling to acknowledge this obvious reality, I think it will manifest a new generation of fascism that will put World War II to shame. I think that's where things are going, and I think that we could get there in 10 years. I think you give people 10 more years of this, and you have something that is even more extreme than World War II. Agreed, and probably by design. Well, that's the question that I have, right? Is I think about this, and it's like, it seems like this is obvious, right? I mean, like, if you understand the history of it, you could clearly see where things are going. You can clearly see what's happening. And how is it that you're not, like, how is it that you're doing this and you're not doing it on purpose? It's like you have to be doing this on purpose on a certain level. Otherwise, how could it even be happening? More extreme than World War II? Who's involved? What do you mean? Well, I would say for Europe, right? I mean, maybe not for the whole world, but it would be more transformative than World War II was. That's really the way that I would look at it. How to speedrun a collapse of a nation? Worse, because it'll be longer. Be hate through abstraction. It'll be hate through recorded video instances. Yeah, the AfD is in Russia's pocket. I mean, I don't want to get into, like, German politics. I have no idea. I don't want to argue with you about it. I have no idea. So Muslim runs over gay people. Liberal white women comes out in defense and blames white incels. It's amazing. They hate their own race more than the actual murderers. And they will die for this, by the way. They will. They will die for this. There's never going to be a point where they understand that they were wrong. Even whenever they are being killed for their ideology, they will still believe that they're right. These people are zealots, and at the end of the day, they need to be treated that way. So that's really it. And I'm understanding this right. He self-deported after a life of crime and extremism. He didn't intend to return to Europe. And they put him in a shit-lib course. And what is this here? To pretty please stop being ISIS, which I'm sure worked so well on other jihadis before. Abdul then retaliated with last night's terrorist attack. I mean, again, it depends on how long this is going to take, but it seems like people are just becoming more and more and more delusional. They could still complain that it's the far right because Muslims are the real far right. They won't because it's the Muslim. I mean, that's true, right? I mean, I think you're right. And when do you think it's going to take a turn and get the trash out of Europe? I mean, I think that really, this is my outlook on where I think things are going to go. I think that eventually the dam will break, and, like, basically decades will happen in weeks, where there will probably be some level of, maybe it's after an election, maybe it's after something else. Like, I don't really know, like, what will be the causal factor. It's hard really to say, because some of these things can happen really fast and you don't really know what it is. Like, a good example is like BLM, right? BLM just kind of happened out of nowhere, right? Is like, if George Floyd was not killed in BLM, or, you know, during like 2020, would you have had the BLM riots? No, you wouldn't have, right? But, like, George Floyd was just like some random crackhead that got killed by some fucking asshole cop. But what is really what does that really mean, right? It means that a random event like that can kick off a nationwide level of unrest that, you know, you can't really account for or plan for, right? That's it. Nothing happens until everything happens. I think so. And so eventually the pendulum will swing to the other peak. Well, I think that's clearly what's happened. Do you think it will ever happen with the female vote still intact? Yeah, because women don't have the physical ability to enforce their voting privileges. So at the end of the day, if things get really bad, like, you have to remember that whether it's the Night of Long Knives or, you know, like any of the other Saddam Hussein taking over, it doesn't really matter. Like, and this is true with everything. The only real thing that matters, like, your ability to vote doesn't matter if somebody decides not to count your vote. So fundamentally, it doesn't matter really whether you say like, oh, this is like, oh, this isn't the right way to do things. Because if you can't stop somebody from doing it, then they can do it, right? It's just that simple. Technology is a great equalizer. Yes, definitely. You really think drone warfare could change the gender dynamic, though? No, of course not. I think that fundamentally and on a very profound level, men are just simply infinitely more violent, dangerous, and prone to murder and killing people than women are. I think that it's by probably a magnitude of 50 times. I don't even think it's remotely close. Like there's never going to be a capacity that women have to match the violent capacity that men have. It's just not going to happen. And I have Black Lives. Yeah, exactly, right? Spatial perception is much better, which is key in my opinion. Well, it's more that it's in the DNA, right? Men like doing this. Women don't like doing this. Like fundamentally, like they've done tests of like women's brain waves where like, for example, this is like a study, and I don't want to get too far into this because it's like off topic, but like there was a study done that showed that when a person who did something bad was punished, that, or a person that didn't do anything bad was punished, men and women's empathy centers in their brain went off to feel sorry for that person. But when a person who did something bad was punished, the women's empathy centers went off in their brain, but the men's empathy centers did not. And not only did the men's empathy centers not go off, but they actually experienced pleasure from watching this person feel pain. Because that's the difference between men and women, is that men are just simply wired differently. We're wired differently than that. And so fundamentally, like that's really it. And this is a profound genetic reality. This is the reason why women are never going to be able to truly match men in any sort of a physical confrontation. Even if you give people robots, you can equalize for every single thing possible, and you can give a woman every advantage a man has, and a man will always come out ahead because a man has evolved for millions of years to kill other men. That's the reason why. And when they're not killing other men, they're killing animals. That's it. And like women haven't done that. That's it. And it doesn't matter how much you train. And there will always be like, fringe exceptions, right? There's always going to be exceptions. Like one of the most deadly snipers in all of history was a woman. So it's not like there are no exceptions to this, but I'm looking at the 99.99999% ratio of like what happens most likely, right? So, yeah, it's evolution. Yeah, it is. It's evolution. Women don't believe in justice. Women believe in consensus more than justice. I think that's true.
Fox News alert, you are looking live at Berlin, Germany. The Associated Press is reporting that at least one person is dead and several others are injured after a car drove through a pride parade near the Brandenburg Gate. Authorities say a manhunt is now underway for one or more suspects and have told people to evacuate the scene. Police say some of the victims are dealing with life-threatening injuries. Joining us now is Paul Morrow, retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor. Paul, what is it? I mean, first of all, this is...
Do you think it's a good idea to chemically castrate violent offenders like the German terrorist? If you really want my opinion, is that I think that if we have a religious person that commits an act of terror, I think that we need to kill them in a way that, according to their religion, sends them to hell. That's maybe a hot take, but that's what I would do. Like, figure out what, according to their religion, is like the most profound thing that makes sure that they never go to paradise or whatever heaven or afterlife that they have, and kill them that way. That's what I would do.
Right in the middle of Berlin, major tourist attraction, Brandenburg Gate. From what you've seen and learned so far, what do you think is going on here?
Well, look, there's been a series of vehicle-borne terror attacks in Germany going back to about 2016. The big one.
Why not kill them the way that they wanted to be killed? Because it'd be too easy. And on top of that, it wouldn't stop. Like, so you have to think about, like, why do you do something like that? Well, you want to do it for a reason. Like, why do you have a justice system? Why do you have a legal system? You have a legal system in order to create, like, for example, like if it was illegal, if it wasn't illegal to steal things out of a store, or like, let's say you steal something out of a store and every time you steal something out of a store, there's like a $5 fine, right? So you just go do it, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to go steal a bag of Oreos. What's $6? So now, or a box of Oreos, it's $6 and I charge $5. So I just made $1. So fundamentally, what happens is that people will always calculate what the punishment for something is before they're willing to do it. There's a reason why this guy went and he did this in Germany and not Lebanon. Do you want to know one of the reasons why? It's because Lebanon probably wouldn't put up with it the same way that Germany does. Why do you think a lot of these guys, these like rapists or weirdos, go to, the UK to go and do rape, but they don't even do it in Pakistan? Well, do you know why? It's because rape, I mean, look, I mean, it's like, like basically damaging another man's property because they don't really see women in the same way that we do. But it's because Pakistan, they'd kill them there.
As the CSD organizers in Berlin, we are distraught about what happened yesterday. Our thoughts are with the victims, their loved ones, and everybody who has been affected by this terrible event. We would like to offer our thanks to all volunteers and guests who wanted to demonstrate peacefully with us. Many of these people suffered much emotional stress yesterday.
Emotional stress. I think it was probably physical stress too, like whenever the ones they, because like the car, right? But yeah.
Have long-lasting effects. We are trying to offer...
Asmon only sympathizes for white people? That's not true. There's tons of white people that, well... You have no idea how wrong you are. You really have you have no idea. That is... Oh, wow.
Emotional support, psychological support. This is needed for our team as
He
well.
doesn't know.
I'm grateful.
It's Rage Mate. Nice try.
Thank you. We are grateful to all people who assisted, all first responders. Our mayor has rightly praised the collaboration with the police. Their quick professional response was decisive in this context. We are also grateful to the Fire Brigade, Berlin Senate, all authorities who have been involved in this collaboration.
People say you only sympathize for white, and I bet they're the ones that go to an only white school. They're the ones that I sympathize with the least. I do. The people that are the victims of this, in a lot of cases, are the ones that I sympathize with the least. And whenever it's like I said, the woman who like brought in her daughter's killer and then the guy killed her, there's something that like, that not only do I not sympathize with her, I'm glad this happened. You have no idea the way I really feel about these people, okay? You have no idea.
The CSD organization
nothing I hate
in
more
Berlin
than traitors.
Stands for solidarity, respect, coexistence.
The foreigners, I don't really hate the foreigners. I don't. I just don't want them here. I have no ill will towards them. I don't hate them. I don't think that they're like awful. I think they're just trying to do what they're trying to do. That's it. Like I get it. I get why they're here. I get it's a different culture. I just want them to leave. Please don't get banned. All I'm saying is, ironically, the foreigners are the ones that I hate the least.
A city open to the world was on the street yesterday.
Tier list is
What
the
we
government,
need now,
the enablers,
is to
and
take
then maybe the
measured
foreigners. They're like way at the
to
bottom.
support everyone affected. We will not get involved
I
with
actually
any
hate them the least.
speculation. We will wait for the result of the police investigation. Our basic approach has not changed. We reject all forms of violence. Ideologies, be they religious or other extremists, are trying to suppress people. We do not want this deed to be instrumentalized for political ends We don't want any group.
We don't want it to be institutionalized for political ends. Too bad. Too bad. It's political. It's absolutely political. Every single time it is. And also, if it was a right-wing person that did this, like some random neo-Nazi, you know they'd be talking about the real threat of Europe is like white supremacy and neo-Nazis and all this stuff. Like, so like they don't really even believe this, right? They're only saying this because the optics behind acknowledging that it was a systemic problem due to something that they supported, it doesn't make them look good. That's the reason why. So you can never listen to these people. It's the same reason why I said that I don't respect the wishes of any of the families of the people that have somebody get killed, because it's not about them, right? Why would I give a fuck about them, right? It's like your kid gets killed and now we have to listen to you about immigration. Get the fuck out of here.
To be placed under suspicion for this. People are trying to divide our society
That's just really
and
what I
set
think.
some people against others. As the CSD in Berlin, we will not allow this.
Uh-huh. Are they at the point if they don't identify the terrorist in 30 minutes, you know, it's a Muslim migrant? Well, I wait for them to identify the person. I do. I will do that every time. I don't like drawing conclusions, because if you do that, then you just feel like a fucking idiot, right? So why are they always lying? I believe what you say, but I think many, but free speech and thoughts are on the chopping block, it seems. Well, I mean, like, again, I'm not interested in a moral conundrum. If you have a moral conundrum with dealing with these people, you're just simply not equipped to solve the problem. I'm not interested in your ethical and moral conundrums. It's just, it's a waste of time to even consider. So, yeah, anyway, I don't give a shit about that at all. And sit back, I talk some lies baked into pure bullshit. I know. I talk a bunch of bullshit. Let me see here. Can I find this? So let me pull this up. Is this a disagreeer? We usually, or do we have anybody? Is this like are you like a Hassan person? I was talking about a brothel. Bad take. How have you felt immigration in your life? How have you felt Palestine in your life? Oh, that's right. You probably haven't. But do you want to free Palestine? You probably do. So, why are you trying to make such a stupid argument? I don't even understand, like, how do you even think like this? Let's listen to this. Let's see what he says. Feel immigration in your heart? Yeah. Where do these people spawn? Out of all white high schools. All white upper middle class high schools. Because, by the way, all of my friends, everybody that I know that all went to school with me, I can't say about everybody, but everybody I still keep up with, I mean, it's a bit of a selection bias there, but like a lot of them, we all think the exact, I have friends that voted for Trump in prison, okay? So they were in prison, but they still got a chance to vote. I didn't even know you could do that. So, like, that's just the way it is. You left? Did you really, I mean, is there really not anything that you're going to say about this at all? I mean, you've been chirping for a while, right? You're like typing out all this stuff and you don't even have a single response? Oh, based? Yeah, I mean, it's really sad to see people do this, but it's also, I think that's the way a lot of these people are, right? And they like talking, but they don't like thinking. It's too bad. The moment you bring them up, they roach out. Honestly, it's very disappointing to me. I get very sad. It's like this is the way that it goes with, like, I think this is why a possum just plays dead, right? Because like an animal, I'm an animal, right? Everybody knows I'm a fucking animal. So like it's not fun to like attack and fucking, go after somebody whenever they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there. It's like, well, I want to do something so I could fucking, like, be mean to you. But, like, there's nothing I can do. It's just, they just sit there and do nothing. It's upsetting to me. The empathy gets a civilization nearly killed. I know. And also, like, this is the other thing. So not only has immigration, I mean, immigration affects everybody in Texas, number one. Number two, something doesn't have to directly affect me in order for me to understand that it's a bad thing. Like, I, for example, you know, can never get an abortion, but I support women being able to get abortions. I am not gay, but I support gay people getting married. How can that work? But and the way that works is simple, is you have to have an empathy for your fellow man, right? Which is ironic for me talking about abortion, but like there's an empathy. You have to imagine yourself in this other position and think about what is the right thing to do. You have to have a way of making decisions, right? That's it. Who would have think it? Yeah, point of view. Definitely. You sure you aren't gay? I'm telling you, like, that's it. People are very divided on that issue, but that's the way that I feel about it, right? And gays for AFD. Wait, what? I didn't have German LGBT community voting for AFD on my bingo card. What am I missing here? A survey of 60,000 German users of Romeo. This is the gay. Is that like a German Grinder? It looks like that's German Grinder. And AFD, you know, now has the highest support out of all the gay people, right? I wonder why. I wonder. It's a big mystery. Nobody has any idea why this happens. Yeah, AFD or the National Populist Party, I think. Well, I don't know. Yeah, isn't AFD banned in Germany? AFD isn't banned in Germany, but there are instances where
dead people.
Oh my!
So in Germany, we had another at the Christopher Street Day parade.
This is the director of Citizen Vigilante.
Islamistic attack with various dead people. I only tell you guys, the LGBTQ community loves Islamistic people and supports them every single day. The woke left supports Islamistic radicals every single day. In England, in Germany,
He's
all
right.
over Europe, in New York, everywhere. You are insane. Completely fucking insane. We're moving towards an Islamistic Europe with Sharia law, and you will be all dead. Dead.
True.
Based on your own choice in being a completely, absolutely out of your mind idiot. You should also think about why every single climate activist from Greta Thunberg to the other millions of people are only following now Free Gaza. The whole time they dumped the climate change. Why? Because all of you are victims of a campaign. You fell in the trap. West NGOs from the woke left paid indirectly over NGOs and third world help with money, huge amount of money, to Hamas, Hezbollah, who did huge amount of campaigns out there.
And you have to keep in mind that the person who did this terrorist attack was from Lebanon. And Lebanon is where Hezbollah is like basically operating out of. And Hezbollah is a satellite of Iran. So this is kind of like what I was talking about how there are second and third order effects of Iranians' terror network and Iranians' terror exporting. How much do you want to bet that the terrorist from Germany was, or, you know, the Lebanese person that was, you know, drove the car through the German people? How much do you want to bet that this person was radicalized somewhere down the line by something that was funded by Iran? I think it's a really, really high probability.
With money to infiltrate your brain. And then from Harvard to Oxford to Stanford to the Berlin.
Hezbollah, Lebanese people?
Whatever. You all
backed by
fell
Iran? Yeah.
into the trap, unfortunately. So my only advice is, if you want to live in 20, 30 years, you need to do an 180. And you have to be aware that also, by the way, everywhere in the news is now, Islamistic radicals are right-wing. They're getting basically any Islamistic attack, terror attack, murder, gets in the criminal statistic in Germany voted like there was a right-wing attack.
You hear what he's saying? He's saying that in Germany they categorize Islamic attacks as right-wing. That's crazy. Why would you do that? Did you watch the movie? No, I tried to message this guy and like I don't know. I mean, the thing is like Uwe Boll, like he is known for making bad movies. He is. And so it's like, I guess now it's like you've got nothing to lose. You might as well just make a movie that's like, you know, something good. And he just did it. The media does. The state does not, apparently. It's separated in state statistics. Oh, so the media does it. Of course.
So that it can blame more right-wing attacks. But Islamistic attacks.
Isn't he a psycho?
Right-wing attacks. Because all this
movie was actually pretty good.
Is one big group. And again, my advice to the LGBTQ community, if you want to live, you change your political course.
True.
Because otherwise, in 30 years, you will get murdered from exactly that people who you let into the country, who you let pray in the parks and public squares and everywhere, and taking over the country. They have a completely different agenda as you think they have. Yeah, and everybody who attacks me for my movie Citizen Vigilante, from Berlin and from everywhere in the world, should look at these attacks with machetes and knives, the rapes, the knife stabbings, the random crimes, the attacks, driving the Christmas markets. And you all should say, we're very sorry that...
We have extremes from all wings and angles. Do we not have an extremist wing? Well, like, let's just look at, do you think that all extremism happens at the same rate? Do you think all extremism happens at the same rate? Let me ask you that.
We insulted you over and attacked you all the time. You were the only person on the whole fucking earth who made a movie like this, like Citizen Vigilante. The only person. Everybody else is a little pussy and follows basically into this absurd writers' diversity bullshit and making Muslims, Islamistic Muslims, great people.
Jesus.
So,
who is this guy?
You should think twice who's on your side on the long run, and you should maybe change course. Because the so-called right wings all over Europe, all over the US, are first of all 50% of the population at least, but second of all, they're not right wings. They're conservative people who don't want to sell out the USA, North America, and Europe to Stone Age religious fucktards who are out of their fucking minds. That's our countries. So, as I always said, you can have a religion,
bro,
whatever
like,
the
what
fuck
year is
you
it,
want.
2010 again?
But you
Oh my
cannot
God.
break the law, and you cannot
I love it.
insult our intelligence with your prehistoric Bolka covering up bullshit.
Yeah.
That's all bullshit. Woman getting controlled, etc., etc., etc. So, that was my speech of the Sunday. And as I said, you should be very, very sorry. Also, all the streamers, by the way, who don't want to buy Citizen Vigilante, the TV stations who don't want to buy Citizen Vigilante, should also wake up, you know, and find a little, like, guts, you know, and not like, oh God, I don't want to be the first guy who gets cancelled at Netflix. I don't want to get fired by Paramount Plus. I don't want to get fired, whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
they're afraid of having people know it can happen.
You're all little pussies, and you should do the right thing also for Citizen Vigilante. Whoever buys Citizen Vigilante for streaming will be the number one. on Peacock, Hulu, Amazon Plus, HBO.
I do think that if they release this movie, like whatever streaming service does have this movie, I bet a ton of people will support it. I do. I bet people will go crazy about it, especially because like if it's getting like mass broadcast out there, it's released. Well, I mean, like if it's on a streaming service, that's what he's saying.
But you all are scared that one movie showed the very hard reality during you do only movies, how happiness, whatever, the best migrants ever, everywhere. That's your movies. And by the way, you do also totally perverted movies like Jeffrey Dahmer, whatever. We have no problems to fucking corpses, like skinning people. Look at the Jeffrey Dahmer movies and stuff like this, the serial murder movies like Terrifier. All your streamers have no problem with the most gruesome, perverted violence crap. You know, zero. But there's one movie, like Statistic Vigilante, out there, what shows facts that happens in that movie. Knife stabbings in the necks, mothers bleeding out in front of their kids, pushed in the subway, mass rapes, gang rapes. That's the facts. That's happening daily. They
don't want to know about that.
That's the only movie what showed that. And what is your result? What is your saying like, oh, we cannot show this to anybody?
I can't DM him. I tried to DM him.
We don't want to hurt your feelings. No, fuck your feelings. Like all these hundreds, thousands of people working in Hollywood or whatever, you should find at one point a little courage, you know, in between your frappuccinos and all your bullshit you do every day, and show programs or movies what represents A, the truth, but second also 50% of the population.
True.
You know.
He's right.
So think about that and open your eyes to the facts.
That is the director of Citizen Vigilante. Oh my God. I feel like, yeah, there it is. I mean, I agree with what he's saying. So this person responded, he's great. I love this guy. Saying it's crazy that he said a terrorist will be labeled as right-wing there. Why not label them as an extremist wing instead? Because people that go out and, like, because labeling everybody as an extremist means that all extremism is equal. Do you think that all types of extremists commit violence at the same ratios, Richie? Do you think that's what happens? Like, we're going to look into this. We're going to think about it. You know this. I mean, you know the answer to this. You know the answer, right? We're going to get to the bottom of it. It's all right. It is equal. It's bad. That's why it's called extreme. Well, no, let's have him explain it. We're going to have him explain it. It's okay. He left. I don't know if he left or not. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. So the reason why you document things is that you document. What is the purpose of documentation? He says, I see your point. So the purpose of documentation is so, like, why do you write something down? So you remember it. Why do you want to remember it? So you can plan for it in the future. So the entire purpose of documenting anything is like, why do you do anything? Why do you write down a shopping list? Why do you have a statistics for crime? Why is anything documented? It's documented so you can leverage this information to help inform you about the future. And it helps you prioritize and deprioritize issues based off of what seems to be more and less likely to happen. And this is true whether it's a shopping list, a crime statistic, or a sales figure of like what's selling the most in a store. So fundamentally, why would you want to document it this way? Because documenting it that way helps you better understand what reality is and how to address that reality. Does that make sense? I think that's really what it would come down to. Statistics are racist. Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, you have to look at it in the right way, right? You have to see it the right way. Leave a message about this post about watching a movie on stream, and we'll upvote it so we can see it. Yeah, I'd rather just DM the guy, but yeah, maybe. I mean, that would happen. I don't really know exactly. I don't want to get too far into that, but I do agree. And where is this here? And jihadist carries out a massacre at a pride parade in Berlin. German leftist blames the bourgeoisie, a centrist. How do you even begin to reason with such people? Well, the way that you reason with them is you just simply remove their political power. That's how you do it. You don't go around and explain it to them and try to these people, you're never going to get through them. You're never going to get them to understand. You're never going to get them to see your point of view. They're never going to be like, oh, okay, this is what it is. No, this is always the type of bullshit that they're going to think and believe. And it doesn't matter what it is or why it happens or anything else.